mainstream media pushes, look elsewhere. Welcome to This and That with Josh and Zach. Anything goes, nothing's off limits. So let's have a couple of drinks and dive into conversations from conspiracy theories and aliens to alternative health, corruption, and free energy. Our only agenda is to lay out the facts and all the angles. No agenda. Welcome in to This and That with Josh and Zach.
What's up, everybody? So we are here with Austin Witsit. And Mr. Witsit, pleasure for you to return to our show. Give us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know, and we'll just get right into the conversation.
Yeah, my name is Austin Witsit. I talk about predominantly like ether cosmology, but just a bunch of alternative things that, don't really jive with what they tell us. And I have super not controversial takes, and everyone agrees with everything I say.
Short and sweet. Last time we talked, you were on with Ashton Forbes, and you guys were talking about the ether. And before that, we were talking about quite a bit ancient civilizations. And right at the end of our conversation, we were talking about ancient Egypt, and you were just getting into the Grand Canyon, and both of us had to go. So can we talk a little bit about that before we get into the missing scientists and all this ZPE and crazy technology that all these people knew, and just, because I think like some of this is going to possibly lead up to that. If you could give us some of that information.
Yeah, sure. So like, I'll give you my take on that. I mean, the way I see the whole thing is like giants were real, and giants are offspring. I mean, it's going to sound crazy to some people maybe, but giants are offspring of like what some people would call like interdimensional entities, what the scriptures would call angels or the watchers. Like, I think that's completely true. And I think that Grand Canyon is just one of many places that those demigods like reigned, basically. I think they reigned all throughout the United States, and they've hid most of that history more extensively than other places, because I think that they want to make it the headquarters of like the New World Order, and so they had to remove that it was prominent in the Old World Order. But anyway, so when it comes to like, I think that saying like there are Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon is kind of like a misnomer, because like they're called Egyptian, but they're not really Egyptian. It doesn't seem. It just seems that we were lied to about how that all works. So my take on the whole thing, I guess, is I believe that there was a one world order back in the day before a flood, and the person that reigned over it was Nimrod, and it's the man of many names. So you have Gilgamesh, Osiris, Apollo, Nimrod's all the same guy, and he ruled over the whole world, like literally. And so civilizations in the US, civilizations in the Middle East, civilizations all throughout the world, they were all under the same one world order, and they were just super advanced. And some say that they had like telepathic communication that was like pre the separation of languages. So that's what I think. And I think that those beings, that they took women, right, and impregnated them. The women would die when they gave birth to their children, because they would end up being giants. And that's where you get like all of these gods. Like you get the Titans, all that are like real stories of real beings that were worshipped. And they would also breed with animals. And I know this just all sounds so crazy, bro, but they would breed with animals.
Humans do it today. It's called bestiality.
Yeah. Well, so I would say these angels, quote unquote, would breed with animals, and then their offspring would have, an eagle head or whatever. And I think that those were like real beings. And it sounds crazy to a lot of people, but like the mainstream story is like there were like Empire State Building tall lizards that, anatomically couldn't reproduce and were here for hundreds of millions of years, or defying, biology or whatever. So it's like all the stories are crazy. But yeah, so that's my take. And I think they've hidden the entire history of the United States. Most people don't know there are like more pyramids in the North America than like anywhere else in the world. So I think this was like a major headquarter of that past world, and that a lot of the civilizations are still underwater. I think basically the sea level across the world is higher than it was then. So, and that would go with the Grand Canyon, because it obviously shows like a formation that's based on large amounts of water. And then there's like a whole rabbit hole with that, where the kind of the falsification of the idea that the Earth is really, really old is something called the Great Unconformity, which is that the sedimentary layers of the Earth, they don't match up with that model at all. They're just like in their paradigm, like millions of years of rocks missing in places. Yeah. And it's because there was just actually like a worldwide flood. And yeah, that's kind of my take on all that.
Well, Zach, it makes sense, Austin, because if you think
I agree on all that.
Yeah, well,
100%.
If there's cataclysms or catastrophic events that happen throughout time, it's most likely, I would say at the very least, gonna bury or destroy everything on the surface, regardless of what it is. I mean, we can go back and forth with anybody on what caused said cataclysms or catastrophic events, but the basic outcome is still the same. Everything on the surface is gone.
Yeah.
It gets buried, and they just rebuild everything on top of it. And then if another cataclysm happens, it buries that civilization. So like when people say there's possibly like cities miles below us and in the ocean, it's not really that far out. They say strange, like truth is stranger than fiction.
You know what else is crazy, man?
Like,
sorry.
What? No, go ahead.
Well, so yeah, like even the scriptures, it specifies that like everything on the land died, right? So like obviously whatever could exist in water didn't die. You just had more water. And I think that's why you see a lot of this UFO activity around the oceans, and they find like just, foundations of cities. It looked like literally right in the ocean. I think that a vast majority of the old world is underground, and like you said, also under our feet, because it would just move huge amounts of dirt and mud, and layers of the earth over with it. My understanding is the reason there had to be so much water is because there were literally giants, and so the giants had to get taken out. And so if the giants are insanely tall and you have to drown them, then you're going to have like an insane amount of water to get above them so that they can drown, which, again, I know sounds crazy, but that's my understanding of it. The Clash of the Titans is basically real. So what I would say where I think we are now is Nimrod, again, he reigned over the First World Order, right? Like I'm sure you've heard of this, right? But we invaded in the Middle East like weeks after they made the discovery using like underground radar that they found the tomb of Gilgamesh.
2005, 2006, it was in Uruk, U-R-U-K in Iraq.
Yeah, where Baghdad used to be.
Yeah, dude. And the crazy thing is they also ransacked the freaking Baghdad Museum.
Exactly.
There was 3 levels in the museum. Almost nothing was taken on the first floor. Everything was taken damn near on the second and third. They only recovered like maybe 17, 20 artifacts, and there was over 60 artifacts stolen from that library or from that museum.
My lunch break.
Just
did a thing on it, and he said that they found over 25 miles of tunnels with artifacts, and the Iraq or wherever it was that runs in their museum. It's off limits, but there's over 8,000 artifacts that no one can see unless it's like. But he did a whole episode on it.
That area of the world is old as shit, dude. Yeah, I do agree.
Clay tablets, like over like hundreds of clay tablets that were like found, and I don't know.
Like I agree with you too, Austin, with America, like our history being lied to, because they're like you have people talking about Tartaria, which is like an alleged civilization. You know about it, Austin. I already know. I'm just kind of like reiterating it that style. But you see them all over the world. All over the world. We only recently have this concept of borders.
Yeah.
I don't think there were any borders there because civilization wasn't retarded and they weren't fighting amongst each other. I mean, yeah, there were fights and stuff, but I think the majority of civilization at that time were working towards in one direction, one goal or multiple goals, but everybody was, instead of drawing those imaginary lines on a map and being like,
Right.
there's that, there's this. If you invade that line, we're gonna just dumb shit like that. I don't think it was like that back then because we can't make that architecture. We've never tried. We just say that we can't do it anymore because it's expensive. But yet they're pouring trillions of dollars into AI. So it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, there's just been a huge decrease in the appreciation of even beauty and art anyway, right? So it's like the average person doesn't even understand the value of those things. They just look at it and look right past it. But so I mean, I actually think that because there's obviously the take that the WikiLeaks email was misdirection or whatever. I don't think so. I think that was a legitimate email to Hillary Clinton asking about the remains of Gilgamesh. I think that they straight up found the tomb of Gilgamesh, and then immediately America went over there. They took that area over and they grabbed his body. So what's crazy about that is they took a bunch of remains and then supposedly returned some, right? So what they returned, they just kept what they needed. This is so weird for the normal person to hear, right? Our military went and occupied the Middle East because an ancient king's tomb was found and they needed to raid a museum. That actually happened. That actually happened.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't that, but there was talk that Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein had come across a Stargate too.
Yes. Yep.
Did you hear anything about that?
No.
Yeah, because they built a base. They had built a structure over the entire city or most of it. And when we went over there, killed him, took all that over, we built a base right next to the city and tore down his old base.
That's pretty crazy. I don't know what that Stargate would probably be a pretty crazy rabbit hole, right? Because obviously with how I view everything, that would be a misnomer, but the functionality of it would be very, very easily real. I was talking about this on my last stream. Dude, UFOs is not that crazy. Why do people? It's insane that people still think it's really crazy. It's no, what would be crazy is if we didn't have UFOs. That would be crazy if humans hadn't figured out UFOs.
We're the only ones.
Yeah, bro. Come on, man. Airplanes are so retarded and old. You know what I mean? But so I'm curious where you guys are on that, because I literally think that they grabbed Nimrod, one of the books that were removed. Obviously, you guys know about Enoch. Enoch was removed. Yep. And that's kind of what you should read before you read Genesis. That's why Genesis just breezes over. Oh, and there were giants in the earth. Yeah, but that's a crazy thing to just say, right? But it's well, you're supposed to have read the whole thing before that. And so it talks about the Watchers, gives them their names, all of that. The reason I resonate with that the most is, aside from my anecdotal spiritual experiences, even intellectually, it's the one that kind of takes all of the civilizations and all the stories and it gives you kind of a coherent explanation. There's a couple other ones, right? Where people think that these entities came and created us or seeded us or whatever. But anyway, I'm curious what you guys think about that one of the books that were removed, and I think it's the Ascension of Isaiah. It talks about how Nimrod, when he was taken out, he went and cut his head off. They went and beheaded him, okay? To ensure that he was dead. And so when it starts describing the one who comes back and reigns over the whole world, it says it was the king that was and is to come again, and he appears to suffer a mortal head wound, right? So everyone's Trump's Antichrist. It's going to look like he gets shot in the head, whatever. No. The guy who reigned over the whole world once is going to reign over it again, and people would think that's impossible because they cut his head off to ensure that he was dead. And then you get into the stories of Osiris, right, and Isis, where he's dismembered into 13 pieces, but they can't find his penis, right? So then they have the phallic symbol in DC. They had the 13 original colonies. It's all about this. Everything's about this. This story and this king is what they're obsessed with. It's all in every Masonic Bible, right? So the obsession with Egypt, it's really the obsession with Osiris and Nimrod, Apollo, etc. And I think that they think they can resurrect him. Either they're going to take his DNA and combine it with someone else, resurrect him some way, then give him the power of AI, where I'm kind of going all over the place here. But if you were to resurrect this guy and then give him, so imagine if an AI supercomputer, let's just call it, could tap into everybody's phones, every device. We already know that they're surveilling us everywhere, right?
Yep.
They already have everything. Right? They know what you're saying, what you're about to do, what you're thinking, all that. Yep. They literally know what you're thinking. Like I'm sure you've experienced where all of a sudden you get an ad for something you thought of and you didn't say it. I mean, in my opinion, they've like mastered this. So you would kind of be a god, right? Like imagine if you could tap in, say you get a Neuralink and you tap into an AI surveillance system that is literally monitoring everyone in the world live time. I mean, that's basically like a god, right? You know what everybody's doing everywhere. You know exactly what they're thinking and what they're going to do, and you have control over them. So I think this is being built for the Antichrist, basically, is what the scriptures would call it, but it's being built for the leader of the new world. So I don't know what you think about that, but that's what I think the whole situation is, like the AI. I think it's all to build it for a tool for the one who comes in and reigns. And then you get into maybe do they fake that with Project Bluebeam or, who knows? Because, I'm going to ask you a pointed question. I want to get your guys' take on, because one of the ideas with Project Bluebeam.
Can you answer the first question first?
Yeah, sure. Or whichever one of the 30. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome to This and That, Austin. Go ahead, Zach. I'm going to be long-winded.
I never even thought about taking it like they're using it for a weapon as the upcoming god, as you say. But everything else I agree on 100%. I've read all those books that were taken out, and I always had a strong disbelief about the Bible until I read those books. And then I was like, well, maybe they are keeping something in the Bible, but they're just misconstruing everything.
They're not giving you the actual full truth. They're giving you breadcrumbs, and then they're letting you determine what's real or not.
Right. And then, other than that, I'm right with you pretty much on everything. Me and you've talked about this millions of times.
Bro, so AI is my jam, and I think we're cooked mainly because of it. And
I always took it as iRobot.
Well,
really,
the thing though is what people don't realize is that we had the internet in the 90s. At the very earliest, publicly, maybe the late 80s, really redundant technology. But before the internet, we had ARPANET. Okay, and they had that way decades before we had the internet. And they already had the foundations for AI. Now, I don't think AI is only 9-10 decades away, old. I think it's way older than that. I think it's what everybody accessed through technological advancements in the past and all those super advanced technologies. We're about at a point, but we're going to use it evil. We're going to use it to control instead of to build, in my opinion. Building may be the byproduct of it. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to surveil everybody, control everybody, manipulate everybody, know your thought patterns. But they're also, like what you said with Osiris, Gilgamesh, Nimrod, they're going to use that AI to make a physical encapsulation, a body, which could be connected to Gilgamesh in some way, shape, or form, or the other god that shouldn't be, or the other king that shouldn't be ruling. But even still, they're going to use that AI to most likely build that robotic body to where it's going to be so realistic you're not even going to know it's fake up close. And it's going to be powered by AI. It's going to have synthetic telepathy. It's going to be able to do miracles because of the the technological advancements in science that they aren't telling us through the alleged disclosure that they've been talking about for, let's exaggerate and just say, forever. Okay, because they're talking about it now, but it's just a distract. I'm like, look, we should have went back to the Epstein files,
exactly,
months ago. That's so dumb that society's already moved on so quick from that. It's okay, so you went from that to fucking UFO disclosure.
And then they straight up they straight up told you that they're only giving you half of them and then still redacted it.
Yeah, because they literally told you. I know this is a segue, kind of off topic, but you had Pam Bondi even saying that if they brought everybody in the Epstein files to justice,
everyone would be taken down.
The whole system would crash. Okay, so crash the system.
Or at least do it a little bit at a time.
Yeah. But to that, I think they're bringing in an AI god. It's going to perform miracles. And Project Bluebeam, if true, that's not going to be used for an alien invasion. I think that's going to be used to show other miracles. On a mass scale.
Yo, check this out. Okay, yeah, that's exactly where I was about to go with it and ask you. So because Project Bluebeam, usually everyone just talks about faking an alien invasion, but it's about also faking the return of that region's religious deity, right? And so imagine, and because I agree with you where even in the scriptures it says like the beast, the image, like life will be brought to the image. It sounds just like AI, right? Like there's something that's inanimate, but it will be brought to life. And that's like a whole rabbit hole of the scripture. Like I will just tell you, so it foreshadows a lot of things. And so like you have when Jonah gets swallowed up by the well. It's not a well, just a giant fish, whatever. Because he told him to go into the city and to preach to them. He said, no, I'm not doing that. It would be like telling someone to go preach to people in Vegas and they're going to all get saved. You'd be like, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. So he went and did it, or he didn't do it. He got swallowed up 3 days and then he gets out, right? So that was foreshadowing of the 3 days for the resurrection. You have Abraham who's told to go kill his son and he's about to go kill his innocent son, right? And then he stopped last minute and he has to carry the wood up there. It's the foreshadowing of Christ being crucified. So there's like these foreshadowing things all throughout the scriptures. One of them is Joshua, which is the proper English translation of the Messiah's name, right? Like Yehoshua, Yeshua, Joshua. Anyway,
I don't want to say anything.
But dude, check this out. This is so crazy to me. So when they're going to the promised land, he said before you go to the promised land, you have to go take out your enemy, and he tells them to go take out a city, which the name of the city is AI. Have you guys ever heard that?
No, but that's still
in the Bible.
Surprise me. Do you know which book and verse?
It may be Joshua, but I'll look it up. The city is literally named AI. AI. Is that not the most insane thing you've ever heard, dude?
When it's that old?
Yeah.
Because I'm not, like, I have that's why I went to go grab it. This is like my Catholic confirmed Bible. I'm not Catholic anymore, but I've had this thing for like years, dude. Since like 13, something like that.
Joshua 7:1-5 and Joshua 8:28.
Okay.
I think it's
but
what
like
it says.
It's only like 2,000 years old, but people will like cherry pick things on it. It's like, why don't we just take everything in it and the Book of Enoch?
Yeah, and all the ancient texts, right?
All of them. It's either Jasher or Jasper, but like the whole Apocrypha.
Yeah,
put that like the Ethiopian Bible, which left none of those books out.
Yeah,
it's one of the oldest Bibles in our history. Why don't we just compile that all together and then make our discernment? Because people want to talk about angels in heaven. That's messengers in sky. So you had messengers coming from the sky, and giving humanity technology and advancements. Like, it doesn't say technologies and advancements, but you get the gist. It changed the whole ball game. Somehow they were able to build just the next day.
Yeah, and also the misnomer is that the secrets were bad, right? It's like it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. It just says that we were supposed to discover it on our own. Like when we were ready, we were supposed to build wisdom to understand it, and they just jumped out. And then like finding metal in the ground and learning you can work metal, that's not intrinsically bad. But then someone comes and says, hey, yo, you can find metal. Like, here's what that is. And here's, you can build a sword and this side kill people. You know what I'm saying? So like the stories that they tainted
the tablet, like 2000 BC.
That was mine. It was medicine. Like,
oh, that too.
Who the hell would have just been like, if I can mix that and that together, it could heal that.
Yeah.
You know, you would have to have someone to tell you.
It would take so long. Dude, same with like computer chips for me, dude. I don't think that humans have come up with almost anything.
If you keep zooming in, it looks like, if you look at the formation of a motherboard or a computer chip, like a processor. No, dude, it looks like the same building blocks as civilization.
Right.
Yeah.
The cities, it's all built the same way. So are they doing the same thing, but they're making like this whole time it's all system based,
dude? Or they're zoomed out and they're helping guide humans to build cities as a giant freaking chip, you know, whatever they're going to use.
There was that floor in that temple. I think it's in India. It showed a circular pattern. And it kept getting smaller, kind of like maze style.
Okay.
And in the middle, there was like it came to a head, but that matches exactly the same thing that we have on our electronics, like to the T. Yeah. It's like, I think it's like 3,000 years old. I don't know the name of it right now. I could probably look it up real quick, but it's wild.
Well, we talk about the turbines
on the pillars in India, dude. And but they put fuel in planes.
Yeah.
Let's put 50,000 gallons of fuel in the wings and let's see what happens. But like people,
but the wings fly off all the time.
But no, have you seen a 50,000 gallon tanker?
Yeah, I've seen them.
There's no way
No
that fuel is going in those wings in 10 minutes when they show you in like real time, but sped up on YouTube. It takes like 5 to 8 hours to take everything out of that tanker and put it in. Like,
right.
Come on, man. It's wild.
Yeah, planes are a joke.
And those turbines. Oh yeah, they are. And the pillars are like, they look exactly like an engine, a turbine engine. Like, it's very, if you want to split hairs, but I believe in like common ground, it's uncanny. You know what I'm saying?
I got one for you. What do you think about melted cities?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
like,
so
like you said, the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I think that there were melted cities, and I think that a lot of the people that talk about it go way too over the top with it, right? So like I kind of think like both things, right? Like, 'cause there are people like literally everything was melted, and like I don't think that all rocks are melted buildings or anything, but I do think that there's certain scenarios where it looks like there was absolutely like an insane amount of heat. Like, even, you know, I actually think that maybe that's where like some of the deserts came from, like crazy cataclysmic wars with these like giant beings that, you know, they understood, you know, weaponry way more than we could even fathom, you know. So I'm not one of these. I don't personally resonate with, you know, 27,000 year cycles and everything is reset multiple times. I think there's been a reset. I think there's been like cataclysmic wars. But for the entire realm to be reset is insane. Like, that's like a really, you know, I think there's been like civilizational resets, and then there's been a singular like full reset. That's just my take. But I do think that there were crazy wars. Yeah, I think that's what the Clash of the Titans is all about. I think if you notice that like all of these ancient stories and religions, like their gods are very fallible. They have like human characteristics. They're like jealous of each other, or then they want to like sleep with their sister, and then they just like want to kill their own children. It's like they're very fallible, you know. And then like they're like Apollo's like the god of destruction, and then they talk about how they fight amongst each other all the time, right? And it's like, well, that makes perfect sense according to Enoch. According to Enoch, that makes perfect sense. You know, if I'm going to make a religion, I don't know why I would talk about gods fighting each other and having all kinds of like stupid fallibility, but like, well, according to Enoch, it makes perfect sense why they're fighting each other. And it says they got Enoch to go to the creator and be like, yo, I'm sorry, we shouldn't have done this. Please forgive us. And he's like, no. And he's like, well, forgive our children. Forgive our children, you know? And he said, no, not only am I not going to forgive your children, I'm going to make you watch them kill each other. That's what Enoch says. And so then all these other stories claim that these gods fought each other. So everything overlaps pretty synchronistically once you apply this watcher's angle. For me at least, in yeah, I think that the alien thing is a but this is what I'm curious about what you think, right? Imagine if all across the world, it's not just aliens that they're faking. They like in India, they see, I don't know, Buddha. Like in here, we see Jesus Christ, Krishna. You know, like Krishna. Sorry, yeah. And so like all of these deities in the sky, right? And they start talking to them, and then you know that the government has this technology that can make you like basically seed thoughts in your mind. Like you hear a voice, but you can't tell. It doesn't come from an external angle or anything. It's like in your own mind. This is what like Declassify. We have that technology. Imagine them transmitting this message, and this is how you would get the atheist as well, right? These gods are sitting there, and then what happens in the sky? They morph into a different deity. All of them morph into a different deity and show like that deity wasn't real. Like we gave you that back in the day to help guide people. So whatever humanity wasn't ready, and we had to make sure that you guys wouldn't kill yourself. We had to give you some type of parameters of morality or whatever. And so they morph into a new God, and it's the singular new Messiah, right? And now the whole world is on the same page with, oh, that's the real Messiah. And he tells us all kinds of profound truths and tells us the true history, and all these governments are lying, and there used to be, you know, giants. We've been here before, stuff like that. That's what I think is maybe going to happen, which would be crazy, right? If they have like a super realistic return of their Messiah, the new Messiah or whatever. Do you guys think that's crazy? Think that's possible?
No, because it wouldn't be. So like I'm not Christian, but I believe in a creator. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we're all from that same creator. Everything that we see, like all humans, all like plants, insects, all that shit is all created by the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Same, whether you want to say it's an entity or reaction, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay. But I could definitely see them making Jesus into an AI robot and making that shit look so real. And there would be so many people that would fall for it, because Christianity is the biggest religion in the world. It's got like 2.4 billion people, thanks to the Vatican for murdering everybody back in the day. but yeah, like most people don't even look at the Albigensian Crusade.
Right.
Every person that considers himself a Christian, then you should have discernment. You should go back and read that. And that's why that's discounting Christianity. I'm discounting the Vatican. That's the only reason.
Oh, totally disavow. They're evil altogether.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so weird that people just ignore that. It's so disingenuous.
Yeah, and they get angry when you bring it up.
Yeah,
but it's like, no,
like
that's real. And all those people that they looked up to, the witch doctors, the shamans, the seers, the oracles, they were all women. And if not all, most of them. And there was a reason for that. There was just a freaking reason for that. I'm not like a feminist or anything, because people will take this the wrong way and be like, all right, I'll just be like, you're retarded. But it's just like, yeah, man. And they just wiped everything out. If they brought Jesus back in a very, very realistic sense, he had all his powers. He could make things appear in the sky. He could cure illnesses. He could read your mind. He could give you love, show you compassion, understanding. And then they use blue beam to show everything else. There would be so many people that would fall for that.
You agree that Jesus can't get the whole world though, right? So like what I'm trying to figure out,
the whole world.
But so I'm trying to figure out how could they get the whole world? Like that's because I think that the scripture are true. So in my position, right, that has to somehow happen. And obviously I get if people don't think that, then it doesn't matter. But like for one, I think the world population numbers are completely wrong. I think like provably wrong. Like if we just use,
you don't think it's 8 billion, you think it's way less.
Way less. Yeah. Like you can use China for an example. This will just like quickly prove it. So the CCP took over in China in like the 50s, and there was less than 500 million people at the time. And so if you were to go from 500 million, they claim there's like 1.4 billion in China now. If you were going to go from under 500 million to 1.4 billion in that span of time, 5-6 decades, mind you, the CCP comes in and they control all information that comes out, including the statistics of the population, right? So conveniently, when they come in, they put in a rule that you can only have one child, the one child policy. In order for the population to go from like 500,000 to 1.4 in that time, each Chinese woman would have had to have 5 children. They literally only let them have one child. It's so stupid. There's not even 500 million people in China. So like that right there takes 1 billion off the number. India is like a whole rabbit hole. It's completely fabricated population. It's like all speculated based on like geographic regions and stuff. So anyway, so I'm just throwing that asterisk out there because it's easier to use the numbers we know, meaning like you have like over 1 billion Catholics, over 2 billion Christians, almost like 2 billion Muslims, you know what I mean? To get an idea of like where everyone's at, I would just say you probably are going to take that all. 50% of that's probably the real number. It doesn't matter. How would they deceive the whole world? Like, how do you get the Muslims and the Christians, or just even all the monotheistic people on the same page? How do you get the atheist on the same page as like the Catholic? How could you possibly do that, right? The atheist thinks the Catholic is retarded.
Yeah, but you prove it to them. If people like, because there's a lot of sheep, and a lot of people, and I call myself half retarded all the time, don't know the information that Zach knows, I know, you know, and so many other people.
For sure.
If they were able to prove that something more powerful than ourselves existed and was God-like or divine, 100%.
I agree.
I think it would change the whole ball game.
Yeah, I think atheists would fall for that easier than anyone else, almost. Right?
Yep. If they legalized psychedelics on a level, please. If they legalized psychedelics in a religious sense, and then paired that with that, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
It's like it'd be MK Ultra on steroids.
For sure.
100%.
Because obviously Muslims, like, they believe that Jesus is the Messiah. He just has to come back and reign. And so, but it's Isa, right? So it's like the Muslim view of it And it is different. And what's interesting is what they claim about the Al-Mahdi, who's going to come and basically be the Islamic like figure, not the Messiah, but the one who takes over the world. He comes on a white horse. He converts the whole world to Islam, blah, blah, blah. He checks all the boxes of like the Antichrist in the Bible. And then the Jewish Messiah, right, which they're obviously obsessed with right now, and I'm sure you know about that.
Yep.
I mean, they're the ones calling these shots, obviously, right? And in the Middle East is all going towards them just building the temple and trying to get their Messiah to come and all that. Well, that's like the Antichrist according to the Christians, right? So how do you get all these people on the same page? That's what's so wild. This is what I think would work, is basically saying, yo, we created all these religions, and the reality is that this is the real Messiah. This is the real God, whatever it is. And it just shifts over into that real God. You know what I mean? So a way to replace them all. And I think that they could do that, because like with AI, something could be a God. Imagine if like some character comes and they literally know what everyone's thinking. They know what everyone's about to do. Yeah. They know what everyone's ever done. You know what I mean? And then they knew everything from the past.
They can imprint visuals into your brain.
Yeah.
That would be the one of the craziest things too, like them showing you your past or something.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, you don't believe in God, but here's how you affected this person or this, when and where, and just shows it to you telepathically.
Dude, that's what's crazy. Yeah, that's what the idea is. They're basically like, you would think like, oh, I'll never fall for that, you know, but it's like if they could send a signal into your brain, you know what I mean? Like if that's actually a real thing, if they actually
already knew.
Yeah.
Through phones, routers, everything else, cell phone towers. Yeah, dude.
They have the whole system set up to pull this off, right? Like we agree with that. It's already in place.
And we've been paying for it this whole time. That's so crazy. Go ahead, Zach.
Now, I think Project Bluebeam and the whole AI thing has been implemented for years already, except it's just used in a different, like what we hear on TV or what, you know, that's already been implemented through everything.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that they've used AI through a lot more than what we know, like you said, for decades before. But what better way to know than already like television took over what?
Well, you had
these 90s,
you had the ARPANET, then you had the internet, then you had Geordie Rose with the first quantum computer in 99.
Right.
Okay. AI needs a quantum computer for all the data sets and all of the algorithms and shit. You had Y2K that happened literally a year after that. You had 9/11 happen right after that. They went to the Middle East to get those artifacts, that knowledge, and all that stuff. You had the 2008 economic collapse and the implementation of practically crypto, because that's when Bitcoin came out on the main stage. And then before that, 96, before Geordie Rose, the NSA came out with white papers about cryptocurrency and blockchain. But people want to discount that because they made a lot of money from crypto. Good for fucking you. But what I'm trying to say is that's the honeypot. Oh, you make a lot of money, it must be true, right? To me, that's like the exact opposite. They're going to give you what you want to get you in, put their hooks in you, and now you think it's true and you put all your faith in it. And now that we're digitizing everything, we're tokenizing everything. They're moving everything to the blockchain and crypto, and AI is going to be in control of all that.
Right.
But it's untraceable. They don't, like, bro, like they're the ones that came out with the system.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me that regular citizens built that and then they're in control of it? But every single social media platform that is even around today was funded by the government. All the major ones: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of it. Instagram, TikTok. Larry Ellison owns all of TikTok now. I'm wondering how that's going to go. The guy from Oracle.
Yeah.
You know, dude, it's, and they're telling everybody within 3 months of Donald Trump and his inauguration, he had Sam Altman and Larry Ellison in the White House talking about surveillance and everything. And you're not going to worry about, you know, needing to do anything wrong because you're going to be watched.
And basically implying like thought crimes and predictive arrests. Yeah. Did you see what he just came out and did? Right. Like he just came out announcing like the fix to the problem he created, which is all these deep fakes. And so like on Tinder, they do like identity verification, like human verification. using AI. So now everyone's going to have to like submit to full blown like identity surveillance and identification to be able to prove you're really a human as opposed to AI.
Yep.
They just announced that a couple of days ago, like OpenAI is doing that. And they're the ones that like led the whole, like the pursuit of the whole problem, you know? So we are, I will say, dude, I'm blown away. I called that Trump was going to get away with way more than any other president would. And because people will just turn their head.
Didn't win.
Dude,
it was all planned.
Dude, it's insane, dude.
Well, dude, Austin, if you think about it, you can go back 25 years. We'll make it an even number. Let's go back 26 years. Okay. You look at every president, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, not blue, blue, red, red, blue, 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 red, red. No, the sitting president will either serve only 4 years and be replaced by the opposite party's president, or serve 8 terms and still get replaced with the opposite party's president. And that allows them to continuously use or move the goalposts because they pit both parties against each other through voting and elections, because they make the other side think that the other side's really bad because they're doing this. And then the other side's going to say everything that side wants to hear. And then that side and everybody around them are going to vote for that person. And that person's going to get in and be like, oh, bitches.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep going in the same direction.
Exactly.
And it just keeps on doing it over and over.
Basically, the government sucks every single time. So people say, okay, whoever's in charge right now sucks. We need to go to the other side. Yeah, it's so stupid, dude. It's also stupid. But like, what?
It's wild.
Dude, Trump is just the most brazen and bold about it ever. I mean, what do you guys think about? I mean, he's like... He's literally like smugly laughing on national TV talking about, well, we're not going to, slips up and calls it a war and says, oh, we're not going to call it a war for legal purposes because he broke the Constitution, he violated the Constitution.
Yeah.
It's just like insane. So what do you guys think about the whole, he has actually talked about a third term multiple times and he said it kind of jokingly, but you know, during war, they suspend elections. And so Trump doesn't need to run for a third term. All he has to do is ensure that we're in war whenever he would be replaced. And you guys obviously know about the Last President novel, right?
Yes. Yeah, by Ingersoll
I was just
Lockwood.
going to bring that up. What if it was everyone thinks it's his son? What if it was just wrong and it was him the whole time?
Well, I mean, he writes both the novels, right? And one of them is The Last President. They go away. Yeah. And then, you're saying people say like basically Barron comes to power. Like, no, I think it's straight up just Trump. I mean, and I don't want this to be true. If this is true, this means we don't have a ton of time to, you know, I mean, like before this happened, like if he's the last president, then we're kind of cooked. So I hope this isn't true. But yeah, I mean, they obviously. What's up?
I think JD Vance is the real evil one.
I thought it was weird that they took him out of that shooting yesterday first before they grabbed Trump. I'm like,
oh yeah.
My girlfriend was like, what the fuck? Why did they take him out first?
Dude, he's super sketchy. Peter Thiel. Yeah.
He's changed his name 3 times. Okay. He wears eyeliner.
So gay.
I'm just gonna leave with that with number 2. Okay, he does. Yep. People say it's an eye condition. No, dude, that guy fucking wears eyeliner.
It looks like he wears makeup for sure.
Yeah, and he's a grown-ass man, and he ain't in a rock band, so he has 0 excuses. Okay? But he was he was a construct. Okay. He came from Peter Thiel. He worked for Peter Thiel, and then was funded by Peter Thiel all the way up to vice president.
And that was his first. He was brand new in the government.
Yep, brand new, dude. Yeah, he left Mithril Capital in like 2016, 2017, and just came out of fucking nowhere.
That's not how that works.
Yeah,
bro, you don't just become vice president.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's because of Trump's sons. They're the ones that told Trump to select JD Vance because of all the money behind him. You have Peter Thiel that's behind him. You have Mark Andreessen. You have Sam Altman. You have Alex Karp. You have David Sachs. Okay. You have Elon Musk, and you have Vivek fucking Ramaswamy, dude. All of those people. Probably Larry Ellison and everybody else in the technocratic community are all behind JD Vance, dude.
All right.
He would not be who he was without Peter Thiel. And Peter Thiel is just talking about the Antichrist in lectures for no reason.
That dude is so creepy and weird. He was asked if he wants humans to keep, bro. You guys saw that?
There's that girl. I seen it, but we showed a video not that long ago of a guy that was fucking around with AI, and green if you want to talk all that shit. And he asked who is going to be the next Antichrist, and he asked if it was going to be Sam Altman. He doesn't say Sam Altman.
Oh yeah.
SA or whatever, and he said green, which means that was a yes, and that the first power would be fire. So the first God that you guys are talking about that would be implemented as the Messiah.
Well, dude, if you had
fire,
if you had an AI bot walk up to you and it looked just like you and me, no problem, it just went like this and fireballs came out of the palms, bro. I don't know about you, but I'd be like, that guy's not human.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
you know,
get away from
him. You didn't know it was a robot,
right?
Like they can do all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Just imagine, especially when you get into what we were just talking about the last time I was on the show, right? When you get into like the way the realm really works and that the ether is real, and you know, this like manufactured energy crisis and energy shortage and difficulty with creating energy is totally fabricated just to control people. And like there's an endless amount of infinite energy, just an ocean of infinite energy all around you at all times that you can tap into. Imagine beings that are fully aware of how that functions and then just being able to tap into it. So like, imagine just them like snapping their fingers or like just like moving their hand out towards a city and all the lights come on, right? Yeah. Like, bro, you could do all kinds of things with ether. You could, I was talking about this and I won't get too in the weeds per se here, but according to Tesla, right, matter is just the ether thrown into infinitesimal prodigious worlds of velocity. So just really small, really fast little vortices, like whirlpools in the ether, right? So that's what Tesla said. He says that when the ether is thrown into infinitesimal, prodigious worlds of velocity, it manifests as matter. And when that energy resides, it reverts back into the ether. Meaning, like, according to Tesla, like everything of matter that you have, like this remote, like it could just go back into the ether. Then it could come back. And it's comprised of little bitty tornadoes, right? That are just spinning insanely fast, like mind-blowingly small. And that he was proven to be right in a sense where you get into the subatomic particles and you look into the birth of quantum. What really happened was they thought there was the atom, which was 99.99999% empty space. And then they looked a little bit past that and they saw these little vortices. They did not discover electrons and protons. That's not what happened. They started seeing like little vortices, like motion that was spinning. That's what actually happened. Yep. So it's pretty crazy. Like it does look like the building blocks of matter are exactly the way Tesla described it. So put that on pause. That's a huge that's a whole show, right? But my point with that is if you understand that, well, if you could get your resonance to such a way that you basically shift back into that primary inertial state. So just like that motion that's making you matter and your building blocks of matter, if you could stop it, you could just shift back into the ether. You could literally pop up on the other side of the world. You could do anything because instantaneous action at a distance is now possible. There's no material limits. So if there are entities that have been here since way back in the day, brother, they know all that. They know all that, bro.
The Egyptian king list, dude, which Zahi Nawas will not fucking say is real, but it predates everything that we know, right? That there were people who were reigning for tens of thousands of years.
Yeah.
And then after the flood, it just went to, a couple hundred and then normal human expectancy, life expectancy. So it's just like, okay, so who could live that long?
I don't know. Personally, I think that the numbers are exaggerated or something, but I do think that
maybe, but that's still wild.
No, and they claimed it like it's something's. Well, all the claims say that they lived way longer back in the day, whether it's like 1,000 or 10,000. Both of those are like inconceivable to me, right? Like that's insane.
Yeah, we can't wrap our heads around that.
No,
So
like, did they age? Like, did they look like 80? I'm guessing that like the 100-year-old looked like a 20-year-old, or like
Well, could you imagine seeing a 500-foot tall tree?
No, that would be awesome.
Or a 1,000-foot tall tree? Like, yeah, but you wouldn't. If you went back and saw it, you'd be like,
that would be so cool.
Yes, it would be cool. But like, you can't tell me that nature lies. Nature, I feel like, is some of the basic forms of truth. So when you take a cut down stump of a tree and you compare it to some of these rock formations that are just smooth on the top, like just smooth, and then you look at the circumference of that structure, it looks like it literally looks like verbatim. If you didn't zoom out and you showed somebody both of those pictures, they would have told you that both of those look the same.
As a tree trunk.
And yeah, and then you zoom out and you're like, oh my God, that thing, that circle is like a mile wide. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's crazy to even think. And then if those are that big, how big are like humanoid beings?
well, I want to know
Are
that
there
because
dragons?
they say they cut
Like,
it down. They cut down the trees and threw
what the
them
hell
in the
cut
abyss.
it down?
That's what I want to know. You know, what the hell?
Like, what do you think about the giant trees?
I think there were definitely giant trees, and I do think that they cut them down, and I don't know how they cut them down.
Like, you think, like, you've played like some of the video games, maybe like back in the day. I did like Borderlands and stuff like that, where they have these giant industrial sized saw blades that are like several hundred feet wide. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they use, but maybe something similar. Could have been lasers too.
Or like, because you're like, say even they just use an axe, because if you're a giant and you have a giant axe, I guess in theory you could just do what you did with what we do. I don't know, but like, what's crazy is where did that go?
Blade the size of the Empire State Building.
You're like, God, I cut that fucker down today. Fuck. You know, like,
I mean, they talk about Paul Bunyan.
It says they did it as like in rebellion, basically, like mad at the creator that they wouldn't be forgiven. I don't know about that, but like, well, you know, obviously
they were cannibalistic. That's why they were destroyed, right? They were like turning on man. They were like eating them, sacrificing.
That's what's also crazy about it. It was like they were abominations. They weren't even supposed to exist, but he still let them exist once they existed. And then they just were just so out of control. Yeah. Like they were eating man. They were like procreating with animals. You know, they were just doing insane things. And then they had an insatiable thirst and they would just eat the people or whatever. So they had to be taken out.
They mentioned animal hybrids. Do you think there's a chance, instead of like procreating with animals, that they may have made those in a lab? Because if you read the Book of Enoch, like Enlil and Enki, it seemed like one was a general or a military style, and the other one was like a doctor or scientist in a lab. Because one was, I can't remember if it was Enki or Enlil. I've only read the story twice, and this was like a couple years ago. But it seems like one had compassion for humanity because it was his creation, and the other one didn't want them at all. And then so one of them gave us the information. That's why there's that genetic hiccup in our DNA, because it was like, I don't know how much. I want to say a lot of that's true, but like, I'm sure I'm mixing up some details. But that's what I got out of reading that.
Remember that show a couple years ago I was going crazy for, is all the mythology behind every single god
on Amazon Prime.
It was like
original or something.
It was like Pluto or something, but it went through every single god, and it went through how I can't remember what god it was. Mated with a bull, which created the Minotaur, which then all led down. But yeah, it was. But I've heard that side too, where it was a lab. You know, like the bottom of the pyramid or the Sphinx. You could go down there, and it was like a. Now, this is a long time ago I read this, but someone went down there and had the information years ago that, like, when they went down to the bottom of the Sphinx, it was like a lab. You know, you could mix parts, your DNA lab. Now, I don't know if that is true. Like I said, it's been 15 years ago since I've read that.
Well, it's just, what's weird about it is just the fact that we don't know what they were doing. We've speculated they've written history books of what the most credentialed people think, right? But it doesn't make any sense because there's so many contradictions,
right,
in what the mainstream tells us. But when you look at what we would consider to be fiction, that shit lines up almost like a fucking storybook.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's
like, it makes way more sense that way. Like, if you take Hinduism, the Book of Enoch, what the hell were the Vimanas, the flying cities that Hinduism talks about?
Yeah.
They were talking about like giant cities in the air, and that they were like celestial wars, meaning wars in the sky.
I think it's all real.
Massive shit. And I've also heard Gabriel, Michael, those weren't actual names of entities, they were names of ships.
Yep.
Like fleets. And if that shit's true, I mean, and you just commented on the ocean thing earlier, Austin. we've been seeing things coming in and out of the ocean that we cannot explain for hundreds of years.
I think
all the way back to the
aliens are in the
1800s is
ocean.
documented.
Me
It'd be the
personally,
perfect place.
Yes.
Like Austin said earlier, whether the water rises or lowers, if it doesn't lower past the original building or the structure that they built, and it's obviously doesn't get flooded or destroyed or anything like that, they can stay down there forever. It's a completely different universe down there.
Yeah, and I think they can go way deeper than we've ever been.
Right.
Yeah, they'd say that Mariana Trench is the largest. I think there's way deeper areas.
Oh yeah. I don't. Yeah.
I mean, they're saying oceans. There's oceans under the crust that are bigger than the oceans that are on the surface.
Yeah.
Make that make sense if we're on a ball.
Everything that they've said, everything they've said about the below the surface of the earth was wrong every time they've ever looked at, this realm is crazy, bro. But I will say, I just remembered that like there's a part, I think it's in Daniel, where a comment just reminded me of, I think it's in Daniel, where in a vision, an angel is sent to cut a tree in like Nebuchadnezzar's vision. So it's like the creator cut the trees. And so there's this theory that to prevent them from being able to climb up the tree and avoid drowning in the flood, that he had the angels cut them down. Just throwing that out there.
Angels are messengers.
Do what?
Like that's where do you even think that the whole depiction of humans with wings came from? Because I went to Catholic, like I was a Catholic for a long time, and all I saw were humanoids with wings that were white.
Yeah, I don't think that the scriptures describe them like that.
No,
the scriptures don't describe people with wings. Why do the Catholic Church do everything that they do, bro?
Yeah, dude.
My biggest question is, why is Jesus white?
Yeah, like
maybe came from
why is Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John names of 4 people in the Middle East during that time?
Well, that's the English name, right? Like you have like Matthias and stuff like that. It's like
yeah, I didn't
yeah, like Moses, Mose, or Moshe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I was asking. But
our
I
audience
think he'd be olive color, right?
Yeah, but okay. I don't know if you guys are ready for this. I do think he was olive color or something, but I'm not saying you guys aren't ready. I'm just saying like some people aren't. Some people aren't, but a lot of evidence that there were pretty much in every major ancient civilization, you had like a minority of fair-skinned, blue-eyed people that were considered the noble class. Like if you look in back to like Buddha, the earliest depictions of Buddha, he has blue eyes. So what in the world? How did no one tell me that? How, like, I would just assume Buddha was brown. Why is Buddha depicted as having blue eyes? Why do they find an Egyptian mummy of supposedly 10,000 years ago, red hair, blue eyes, the phenotype of blue eyes? So there are lots of writings that basically say that there would be these like fair-skinned people. They would teach. They'd come and say, "Here's how you ride a horse. Here's how you shoot a bow, whatever," and they would kind of be considered a noble class. They were a smaller amount, but a noble class. So what's interesting about that is we're told that like white people whitewash history, right, and forced white people in place of everything.
Right.
What if actually they kind of pulled these little like parts of history out that had some white people in it back in the day? And this is where it gets kind of crazy. It does look like some of the 13 bloodlines believe that they track their lineage back to the star people, right? And that's actually what you get the esoteric obsession of the Nazis. Yeah. When you really start to track that back, that swastika is the Big Dipper, and it's in its 4 seasons, because you can always go look at the sky and know what season it is just based on where the Dipper is, right? That gives you all 4 seasons. That's what the swastika actually is. It's about the Big Dipper. It isn't about anything else. And so it's like, well, the sky people came down. Like there's a group of powerful people, this is my understanding of it, that believe that they actually tracked their lineage back to the Atlanteans, which came from the sky people, came down and intermingled with man.
Yeah, there's an old book. I've said this a couple times. I only found it on archive.org. It's from Herman Weiland with 2 N's. He wrote it in like early 1900s, and he talks of it. The title of the book is called Atlantis, Ada, and the Bible, and he actually talks about the antediluvian civilization and that they were possibly Nordics. However, they weren't red-haired. They were blonde-haired, blue eyes, tall and slender with pale skin. and that they taught everything to that's where the Germanic history, that's where they see themselves coming from. Like, so when you heard the mustache, I hate censoring myself, Hitler talking about like the Aryan nation, that is specifically stated in the book. He was only talking about that, which makes sense on why they chose the swastika, because Hitler, Hermann Goering, all of them, Martin Bormann, they were all occultic.
Yeah.
Every single one of them were. That's why
Big
they were in France, Africa, the Middle East, looking for all those artifacts.
And then they became obsessed with another place.
Yeah. Yeah, Antarctica.
Yeah.
That's another thing they don't like. We're gonna take a break. We need to take a break, dude, because it's gonna, if we start this conversation now, it's gonna go until the end of the podcast. So we're gonna take a quick 10-minute break. Feel free to talk to your audience while we're gone, but we'll be right back, man.
Cool. What up, guys? Okay, it was kind of impromptu, but I thought like, oh, yo, if they're cool with it, I'll just stream it while we record it. So what's going on? I think it's gonna be like a 10-15 minute break, and then we'll do about another hour is the plan. This is great. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. So let me know if you want to, if you get a super chat in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll read them, and then I'll read everything off. Let me mute on there, and so they don't have to hear me just talking over here if they don't want. But or maybe they could def me, I guess. Super chats, you can send them I'll read them at the end too. I don't want you guys to think I'm like leaving you. Okay, I'm gonna play the astronaut video while I go use the bathroom real quick, and then I'll chat with you guys for like 5-10 minutes until they're ready to go again. Fire stream today. Thank you. I might still do another stream tonight. How do I know if I'm subbed on Kick? I don't know. Maybe could someone in Kick help explain this guy? Because I don't know that much. F YouTube. I hear you, bro. Yeah, shout out to all the legends that are on Kick. And shout out to all the legends that are subbed on Kick, are going to gift any subs on Kick. I'll call you guys out by the end of the stream. Okay, just so there's not any dead space, I'll play the astronauts dancing. I think that's like 4 minutes long. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick, and then I'll come back and chat with you guys till we're ready to start the show back up. Yo, yo, yo. All right. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. I think these guys are dope. All right. Let me make sure I get my phone so I can see if they text me. So I found out that the site had not been working, so I was working on that. The site's up and ready now, so memberships, super chats, donations, all that work through the site now. So witsitgets.com, everything should be working for anyone that may have had some issues with it. Let me pin this guy. JJ. Pin. Everyone please join on Kick. Let's go. Yeah, if you're on a browser, can you open up a separate tab so Kick will register a view if you insist on staying on J2. Yeah, what's going on, brother? Let me grab something real fast. So we're about to start back up. I'm gonna let you guys know. Any super chats that have been sent, I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I'll read them. I'll read everything off at the end. So we're gonna do like another hour. Then I want to talk about Antarctica some. And after about an hour, we'll end that show. I'll chat with you guys, read the super chat, then we'll end. And I'm probably going to go live again a little bit later tonight. I'll take a little bit of a break. So lots of content tonight. So support is greatly appreciated. Hope you guys enjoy the stream. And we're going to get back into it in like a couple minutes.
One of them, dude.
That's why I always bring up. We just brought up the Mariana Trench, and I always bring up the Meg, and like how that
giant shark.
Dude,
Jason Statham karate kicking a shark.
It's
bro.
because when they blow up the
the
foam, it leaves an opening which has another.
If we're gonna talk about the Meg, we might as well talk about Sharknado. Sharknado.
The factual.
You guys were talking about the scientists too. That stuff is wild. You guys agree it's like a psyop? Like that,
it makes sense. It makes sense on that is the one that opens the entire can of worms. The entire can of worms, because after that, they literally have to admit at that point that they've been lying about everything for a long time, man.
Such a good move to throw David Wilcock in there too, right? Because he talks about so much stuff.
I watched him so much on Ancient Aliens, and I read his book, dude.
Yeah,
I never read his book.
I have it on. Well, I didn't read the book. I'm sorry, audience. I listened to it. I have it on audio.
Ancient Aliens is like their controlled disclosure, leading you into kind of what they're going to do. So my opinion is,
I can't remember his name. The crazy hair guy.
Show.
He's like, bro,
the crazy hair.
But it's most likely aliens.
Aliens. I don't want to say it was aliens, but
but most likely, like they're out. They're right next to a crop circle.
Yeah.
Like, but no, dude, the scientist thing, that makes sense. Like Amy Eskridge, that's another one. People called her crazy, but it's like, dude. Like,
Oh, the girl from Huntsville.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, crazy, man. She was like
over
her father was wrote like an anti-gravity thing. And she said like only 5 people. So the thing I know that wasn't true though that she said was like only 5 people have ever discovered anti-gravity. Lady.
Oh yeah, that's not true.
No.
I'm half retarded, and I tell you that's
the
not true.
whole world knew that. Okay, it's just called electrogravitic propulsion, man. It's just electric.
Yeah. That's what gravity is. People like that's why it's a theory because it's a byproduct of electricity, bro.
Yeah, and
like,
the theory is retarded.
Yeah, well, it's the thing is, dude, is if you're gonna tell me that everything's electromagnetic, you're gonna state that, but then you're gonna give me a bullshit theory on what you think gravity is.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the writing's on the fucking wall, bro.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to draw you a fucking picture? Here's some crayons. Stay within the lines.
But think about it. If you're going to remove the ether, you're kind of forced into a corner. Well, they tried, right? So they did that with relativity.
They did try.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, like, you're kind of forced into a corner of just being retarded. Like, you really can't. It renders you retarded. Like, if you take away the ether.
That's why we can't leave here. That's why I think a lot of people talk about the firmament. Like that. This is the thing. Like, Austin, I'm not a flat earther, but I will fuck with some shit, and I will have a conversation with the hardest flat earther, and still not have an argument with you because we agree on so many other things. But what I think what the firmament may be is a barrier that we can't break. But why can't we break it? Why? Because we're still using right now rockets, so we can't leave, right? Like you can't. Like you look up the thrust and the speed of a rocket in order to leave just our atmosphere. This is another reason why I agree on so many flat earthers about why they think space is fake and shit, is because you need 30,000 miles per hour speed to get into our atmosphere. No. The closest rocket that I'm aware of right now is like around 22,000, not even close. And then every single craft that we've ever come across has electrogravitic like properties. They don't see a power source even through radar. It can do right angles at like, we can just speculate and say the speed of light to just make it for fun. But like seriously, 0 to 6, like, or like what Fraber say? It went from like 1,500 feet or something to 0 in a split second. And then went to the rendezvous point, came back, and then there's been so many discounts of like craft that they can't explain coming in and out of the ocean.
Yeah.
And still traveling at that kind of speed under the water, and then football field size craft being caught on radar.
Well, I think that's what's crazy is like Columbus in his diaries and his books, he talks about looking out of his boat and shit coming out of the ocean and floating above it, then shooting back down. And it's like, you'll believe that he took over a continent, but you won't believe that something flew out of the water. Like, that's crazy to me. And he didn't take over.
There's discounts
of everything.
There's discounts of people seeing this shit for centuries, man.
Yeah.
Like,
have you ever seen a UFO?
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah.
I saw a UFO, multiple UFOs when I was 19 with my ex. That one was crazy. Okay. They all we were like hot boxing, and we pulled over, and they were like moving around in the sky. Yeah, of course I was hot boxing, and we dropped the box. And I took a bunch of pictures of it, and all you could see was freaking smoke, and I called my dad, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, dude, whatever, forget it. And then my ex is just the worst person ever to be with. But what they did, it was so crazy. They're moving, dude, they're moving around in the sky. So they're like orange, like lights, right? They're moving around the sky. And then one would disappear, and they're like creating all these different structures. And then when there's 3, they move into, when there's 4, they create a pyramid, and then one goes to the middle of the pyramid, and then the middle one disappears, and then the other ones start to disappear. So they were literally moving like up, down, left, right, just like doing their own thing. And they formed a pyramid. Literally on everything I love. The most insane thing I've ever seen. That was 19 years old. Then I saw with my other ex, we saw it go across this years later, like 24, saw it go across our backyard and then come back. It was really crazy. And then there was one night I was by myself, and it was super clear out, and I lived like way out in the country. So there's like no lights anywhere. Okay. And dude, over the course of like 2 hours. I was like laying outside just looking at the sky. I saw lots of shooting stars and stuff. I saw, no lie, like 10, 11 of what I'm calling a UFO. It looks like a star, and it moves like really gradually across the sky. And it's not Starlink, right? I've seen Starlink. It's nothing like that. And they were all going north. They look like stars. So the UFOs I've seen, they look like stars, and they move like at a very controlled pace where they look like they're moving slow across the sky, but they would be moving pretty fast depending on how far away they are. I've never seen one like up close in like a disc or anything like that. I've never seen that. I've only seen like lights that are clearly moving on their own agency in a way that doesn't match anything we're told, and they're super bright. So that's what I've seen.
Yes. The first time I ever seen it, it was just like you said, except for it wasn't a pyramid, it was a circle. And there was like 6 of them. One would fly in the center and disappear, and the next one would go in. And there was like 3 of us.
Oh, crazy.
And then, like you said, it was kind of like we'd be sitting there, a couple of us would be sitting up looking at the sky. You'd see something fly across, then totally cut corner, you know, and then just disappear.
Yeah.
But my grandma, when she was on her deathbed, she told me that she had a reoccurring dream for 3 nights in a row, that she would wake up to a pinkish haze glow. And then so the base of our house is you walk in the kitchen, her bedroom was by the kitchen. You could see who could walk in. She always thought it was me. And in this dream, what she thought was me would walk up to her bed, and she would like fake she was sleeping, and it would grab her hand. And right as it would grab her hand, she'd wake up and say, "What are you doing?" And then she'd wake up from her dream. This happened multiple times. Well, when she was on her deathbed, she told me that the last time she woke up from her dream, that they were gray fingers, long gray fingers that were grabbing her. Now, maybe crazy, but I mean, it was, for me,
I don't think
it was
anything's
wild.
crazy.
Yeah, like people think of
we live in a strange clown world,
right,
bro. It's
you know what I mean?
Odd.
It was just weird. Like, yeah, she was on her deathbed, so maybe something, but it was like uncanny where you knew that it wasn't just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just had the sense of like, you felt like she was telling the truth of what she was saying.
Well, you guys know the Nazis had UFOs.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Let's get into it.
We wanted to talk about Antarctica, so which one wants to start, Ost or Zach? Because I'm gonna go on for a minute, dude. So,
all right. Well, I think the Nazis, my belief, I think they got away. 50,000 went all over, but I think the majority found a nook and cranny under Antarctica, underneath the ice. And what I've read is they found like a hole, and when they went up underneath and found the cavern, they were greeted by some other entity.
Yeah.
And then they got what we know now is, our technology and all that. And
they had Atlantean technology they never used, and then the Nazis made a trade.
Right. And I feel like they were the first ones to go to the moon, which was why we had to race to the moon. And I think space is colonized already. My true belief, I'll just say, I think space is colonized already. I think all those Star Trek, all the Star Wars, all that has a real play in it. Just like Lord of the Rings and
it's the same thing underneath, like in the ocean too.
Right.
Like the same kind of technology, the same kind.
That's my belief. I could be wrong.
But I want to hear yours, Austin, before I fire off.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think space is colonized because I don't think that we can go to space, but I don't think anyone's ever been to the moon. But I do think that UFOs are a real thing. And if you look at some of like the scientist documents back then, they called relativity Jewish mysticism. They hated it. You have like 100 authors that were German and Austrian sign a petition to kick Einstein all of his work out. They said that it was like Jewish mysticism that was going to brainwash their children. And that's a pretty interesting read, actually. The 100 authors against Einstein, if no one's ever looked at that, like the first few pages are hilarious. It's like an intellectual disk, basically. But anyway, so I think they did create the UFOs. And then my understanding of that sequence of events, right, was we've been lied to about all of World War II, but we set that aside. We intervene in World War II. They take off, which, like you said, like I think that's even declassified, like Argentina, and they were obviously very interested in Antarctica. Right after that, we have Operation Paperclip. We bring Werner von Braun over, and they put him in charge of space exploration, which it was then later proven and admitted that they were lying to the Germans about what their rockets were actually doing. They were using little models and pretending that they were videos of actual rockets and stuff like that. So to me, that's pretty funny. Like, okay, so they were lying to the Germans, but then we brought them over here and then they stopped lying to us about that or whatever. But okay, so what's crazy about the sequence is they're obsessed with Antarctica. We intervene, Operation Paperclip. We bring Nazis over here, and then we become obsessed with Antarctica immediately. Then you get Operation Deep Freeze, Operation High Jump, where America starts sending people out, military out there, right, like to explore it. And then you get the Antarctic Treaty signed shortly after that, and then you get the foundation of NASA 1 year later. Right. So
because
they
saw the fucking technology, dude.
They did this all like back to back, you know, like it was the 40s and 50s is when like really like they set up the huge lie. So whatever they found out, we explored the northern regions and the southern regions, and they were like, no one's allowed to go to either one of them. Right. And most people don't know that. Like we signed a treaty that basically agrees not to let any private citizen explore those areas. The North also. So the quote unquote North Pole and Antarctica. But anyway, I do think that I will say from going there, whatever's going on there, it's underground for sure. Like you said, like 100%, bro. You're not doing anything above the ground, bro. Okay. You're just not. That place will swallow you up and not think twice about it. It is insane. Like as soon as I got there, I'm like, this is real cool. Can we go? You know what I mean? Like it was cool, you know, but bro, it's eerie, bro. It's so eerie. It's hard to explain, but it's like we're not supposed to be here. That's how I felt the whole time. I'm like, I'm not supposed to, like, I knew the creator was protecting me is how I felt, but I'm like, people aren't supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and why would think about how easy it'd be to dig down. It's just ice. You could easily just dig right down and build something, carve out the ice. You know it's not gonna ever freeze. You don't have to worry about it. It'd be way easier than building something underground here.
Have you heard the organism B12? That story from Antarctica when they drilled down in the ice and then they put like 12 divers down there and they came across it was like an octopus.
This is Russian.
Yes.
Yep.
And they came across like an octopus that had like, I don't know, where it could paralyze you from so many yards away, but it was pretty much ripping these people apart, and they ended up catching it or like destroying it or killing it or whatever you want to say. But I'm just wondering, have you ever heard that story? Because it could be bullshit, you know. I'm just saying from what, but obviously
the
you
Russians
kind of
don't really. I don't think the Russians or any other country really share everything that they've experienced.
I don't know.
And it's the Russians.
You know what's also interesting about that, right? You know, like, okay, do you guys know how long the Cold War supposedly was? Like, when someone asked me that, I had no idea. You do know? Like, it's like insane. I thought it was a few years. Like, they claim it was 40 years.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Like, if you Google how long was 40 years? So it was just like a propaganda thing. It was like both countries are going to control their population, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to give them propaganda based on that. And so the Russians got what they want. They claim to be the first one to send a monkey to space, first one to send a satellite to space, whatever. So they let their people know, like, we're dominant. We went to space. And then America got to say we went to the moon. You know, both of them just kind of got their own win out of that. That's my perspective. And documents have shown we've been working with them for a long time. So it's like, think about it. It's like people always say the Soviet Union would have blew the whistle if we didn't go to the moon. Like, no, they wouldn't. Well, because they were lying to their people at the same time. And also, how could they prove it, right? Like, if we're trying to prove it, how could they prove it? They're in the same boat as us, you know? And then this is like a whole thing, a whole rabbit hole, but I found a declassified document from 2012 So it was classified from the 40s all the way to 2012, which is over the 50-year threshold, right? So they covered declassified or classified even longer. And the CIA had infiltrated the Soviet Union and was obsessed with their ability to create films that faked the setting, like the background. So basically like a green screen, right? But it uses like the rolling map method, and it used infrared. So long story short, they could create a green screen just by using certain wavelengths of light. You could erase everything else from the background and replace it with something else just by using film that's tuned to a specific frequency of light with infrared, right? Which is invisible to the naked eye, infrared. And that's in the 40s, bro. That's insane, right? That's an incredibly sophisticated, and it said that you can't see any of the lines or anything. So I think that we just like, we had beef with them at first. We kind of started working with them. Both of them put out propaganda films to lie to us. They found out the Nazis basically looked into the past, and the reason the Nazis were so advanced was they were like, oh, maybe our ancestors weren't dumb. And so then they took the occultic esoteric route to ancestry, and then they were way ahead of everyone else. And then we kind of took them over in a way, right? And started figuring out what they were figuring out.
Well, they were in Antarctica in the early 30s.
Yeah.
Before anybody else.
Yep.
And the only other people that I know of that were may have around like that same decade would have been in British, just because of the New Schwabenland, which is like the myth, but I'll say there's probably a little bit more truth than myth. And then you had Queen Maudland, which is just over the ridge.
Yeah.
And that's where the supposed British were also building a base as well.
And then we built a base called Little America.
Yeah. Yep. But and the crazy thing is that when you said the Nazis had the saucers, yeah, but there was a reason for that, and you pretty much already broke it down. But it's just like they were ahead of the time. They had Antarctica populated by 40, like by 1940.
Yep.
They had already built the base,
like underground.
Yeah, and it was 2 miles under the ice.
Okay.
It was only accessible via submarine.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And
yeah.
Towards the end of the war, America, you can look up the documents. They saw like an extreme amount of traffic in the southern tip of Antarctica during the ending of World War II. The Nazis already knew they were going to lose.
Yep.
Like they had already had Operation Paperclip already agreed upon before the end of the war. That wasn't that's not a new thing. Like they already knew. This is another reason why they never talk about Martin Bormann in almost like no documentary. You never come across the guy. And it's the crazy thing about Martin Bormann is you had to, in order to even see Hitler, you had to go through Martin Bormann. He was the financier. He was in charge of all the shell corporations, all of the technological advancements in Antarctica, all the building, all of that shit went all through him. And he's hardly ever talked about.
Yeah. You never heard of him at all.
It's a crazy thing. Exactly, dude.
I
didn't come across him until Jim Mars's book, The Rise of the Fourth Reich, where he breaks like the history down of the Nazis prior to Operation Paperclip, what they were working on, like to the T in technology. And he breaks it all down, like being able to make substances disappear through heat and cold.
They were already,
and that's what they're making their fucking aircraft.
Yeah, they were already planning 100 years in advance than what they already were.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the civilization in space thing is interesting. It throws me for a loop, right? Because like my take is so the opposite. It's like you can't leave this place.
I contradicted myself so bad right there.
No, you're good. Dude, I mean, I don't like.
I don't even believe people went to the moon. How the fuck can I say space is colonized? I was like, so that was my fault.
I was kind of looking at you, but I was not even showing support.
I guess I've heard the idea that there was like a secret space program and then they lied about that moon landing or whatever, right? But I don't think any of that's real, but what's crazy is the same with the last president, right? Like you also have Jules Verne writing a science fiction book in the late 1800s and predicts the moon landing perfectly, like exactly where they take off from, exactly how they supposedly slingshot around it, everything. in the late 1800s, where they fly off from in Florida, all that. And then you have Werner von Braun coming over here. I'm sure you guys heard this, right? Like Werner von Braun writes Project Mars. The main character's title is Elon. He founds the first civilization on Mars. You got to be kidding me, bro. Like, but it's not someone's time traveling, though. It's just that the elite, right, quote unquote, they write things in like science fiction novels, and then they get together and they pick what they think the best script is going to be. That's my opinion. And then they just implement that script. And yeah, when Elon was born, it was like a calculated conception. Like he had a role from the beginning. To me, that's much less far-fetched than someone's time traveling. And what is interesting is they have like the idea of Baron Trump. They start putting this like time travel idea out with those books and Baron Trump and the last president. And now the same thing, even with what the shooting at the White House, dinner or whatever, they start talking about the same thing. Like, oh, it's time travel. People jump over to time travel. Amy, that girl in Huntsville, she's talking about these beings from 47,000 years in the future or 52,000 years in the future, and they come back to warn us of a cataclysmic event, right? In my opinion, that's all a psyop, in my opinion. Like that might be what they try to push and convince us is that time travel is real. I could be wrong. I just don't think that time travel is real. I don't. I think that the implications of that are so massive, meaning like, how could you even feasibly do that without it being like cataclysmic, right? Like any little thing that you do, to me, that's just a pretty crazy idea. And time is kind of just a concept. Time isn't.
It'd be a ripple effect in the wrong direction. You honestly may even cause terrible things to happen because you change the past.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you couldn't avoid it. Like I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like how could you? So the idea that there are a bunch of them running around doing things, I mean, that would be the most reckless thing ever. So that's one thing I just will never be on board with.
That briefcase movie. What's it? You know what I'm talking about, Austin? Ethan Hawke, he plays this time traveler. Is it the Bureau? Is that what it's called? The Bureau?
I don't know.
This suitcase, there's the combination dial. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
He does it and he just vanishes and he's like a time traveler. But
I've listened to so many time traveler stories for years.
I've listened to a few too. They're kind of captivating,
Yeah, some of them are like, maybe, like holy shit. And the other ones are like none ever line up to each other. There's never the same exact date. You know what I mean? It's always, it jumps around.
Well, even if there was time travel, we're definitely cooked. Because the moment it was actually like was able to happen, they could scale it.
Oh yeah,
bro. We don't. Yeah. We're already done.
So where I see this whole thing right now, I think that they really may be taking these scientists out. Like I think they're really taking them out. They're really coming up missing all that. And I think that they're intentionally making sure that people figured it out, right? And because like the fact it's all over mainstream news just speaks for itself. Like it's pumped all over mainstream news. Missing scientists. The government came out and said they're going to investigate it. Bruh. Okay, the government's not investigating something. But just to even talk about it is ridiculous, And I think it's because they want everyone looking. You have Obama in the interview asked about aliens, and he says yes. He says that they're real. And then comes out later and corrects himself. Then Trump says he gave this declassified information. He's not supposed to do that. And then gives the order to have the UFO disclosure. Which they've been saying for 4 years. My point is that they're getting everyone to look over there.
Yeah.
And so it's like ancient aliens prime the public.
Like it's just the photo ops though. Like you brought up the dinner from last night.
Yeah.
They got the gun pool.
Oh yeah, all that. like I've never followed.
Super sus. Austin. What so sus?
I'm gonna cover that tonight. It's bro, good. So sus. Did you saw the girl that does the interview and she says make sure to stay tuned? There are going to be lots of shots fired. Yeah, and then the girl is on Fox News talking and she says like Trump pulled her aside and said be really careful and all this, and then like they cut her off. I don't know. It's just that's all very sus.
And they got it recorded just at the right time,
and then immediately released it.
Dude.
We still don't get video of Charlie Kirk's assassination, right? But whatever.
My thing is like if they would get murdered on the side of the road, like, you know, they get killed from like someone driving by, shooting, you don't get the video, I'd be like, believable. But why is everything videotaped? Every single death. It's never. It's like, hey, I remember. I can't.
It's
remember
like, oh,
who
dude,
it
I think
was.
something bad's gonna happen.
And then the video is always just sus, right? Like we did, like it's like there's a video exists, but it's just super sus. Like all of a sudden, like with Tyler Robinson, whenever his shadow disappears, and I went and found where they had just now put in like HD cameras all across the campus, spent millions of dollars. So why am I looking at like Nintendo 64 graphics? You know, like all of it's faking gay in my opinion, and I think the same thing of last night. I don't want to be the person that adds to the problem where you just claim you know everything's fake immediately. But I'm just like, well, you have to prove it's real. You got to prove this stuff is real, and I don't think it is. So I guess though, to backtrack a little bit, because I think this is definitely the most important thing. And you mentioned Epstein. Like maybe they are distracting from Epstein, right? I think the war with Iran helped do that. But I think that they don't care. They only gave you 3 million. They told you there's 3 million more. The law they passed said you have to release the names. They didn't do that, bro. Okay, they said only redact the victim's name. They redact all the guilty parties. If that much stuff is in the 3 million they released, what do you think is in the other 3 million, bro? Like they're just straight up talking about beef or like jerky. You know what I mean? Like it's just insane. Walking jerky across and jerky recipe. Anyway, so. Yeah, maybe that's a distraction. I think that they did that on purpose. I think that they wanted to straight up tell you, we're not going to tell you, bro. You know, like this is all you get. Who knows? That's my kind of take on it. And then the Iran war kind of helps move us past it, and they're now pushing us towards the UFO thing. And I think that they now have the cover of, the aliens had to stop us from destroying ourselves. We were on the brink of nuclear war, right? They can do that one now. Now that's on the table. They don't have to do that. They can do like a million things. But whatever it is coming, bro, like in a lot of predictive programming for 2027, dude, it's the alien thing. Who knows how it goes down, but aliens are definitely going to be a part of what they're about to use to deceive us.
It's going to be similar. I think it's going to be similar to Will Smith coming out of his house early in the morning at the very beginning of Independence Day and seeing a fucking city-sized in the sky.
That would be crazy. Yeah,
Well, dude, they have the technology. If the Nazis, and we already know they did, had the technology they did then, and you fast forward to now, like that whole ratio and the speed in which like R&D comes into place, they can actually implement said technology in the public, that speeds up the more advanced that you become.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't stay static.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's why you had Phil Snyder in the 90s talking about how the government could quite possibly have it like technology that's like over 3,000 years
more advanced.
Future.
Yeah, because it would be exponential.
Yes.
Absolutely. Look what AI is already doing. You think that there's a commercially available AI like Manus? I don't know if you guys have heard of Manus.
3 years max.
Manus, Claude, Cowork, Claw, all this. You think that that's commercially available where you can go buy a Mac Mini and then literally have like a $100,000 employee?
Those videos are so crazy. Instead of a whole business,
bro. So what do you think they got, bro? What they would actually have to be stupid to give you what they had. They would actually have to be stupid, right? So
or
they would never
extremely compassionate.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just selfless.
Yeah. You were talking about giving our permissions earlier. You know.
Yep.
And I remember when I first got my cell phone. All right, now this is 2010. You know, when cell phones were actually like becoming a thing where you could just do whatever you want on. Yeah, shit like that. And I remember when the first time you had to allow something to take all your information.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of people were like, I don't want to do it. But fuck it, and how much did that give away? That was
everything on the
25 years ago, let alone now. Well, that's 25 years ago. I remember
15 years ago.
Well, I'm saying like AOL and shit like that. You had to give all that stuff away then. They could track that
the moment
easily.
The internet. Whitney Webb talks about it in her fucking books, bro.
Saying. But yes,
about Robert Maxwell.
Ago, yeah, all that.
The moment the internet was released, they did it specifically to start with financial records.
Right. Yeah, and then it led to
everything else.
now just 15 years
and a bunch of annoying coffee grinder sounds.
Track phones to, shit you can't even imagine that would. When I was 15 years old and the first touchscreen phone came out.
Oh, yeah.
And then compared to nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, and it had the fake picture of the globe on there.
Yeah, and then it has, now you can go straight to VR and like just crazy, do whatever.
The cell phones we have now are so freaking powerful. It's ridiculous.
It's insane. Yeah, it's insane. It's like superior to an entire warehouse of computers in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's 15 years from us. Imagine the government moving 20 times the speed.
Dude, there's no telling there's no telling, bro. There's no telling. What, like, so I guess what we got to figure out, right, as people, is we figure out and get, raise awareness of, is like what their end goal is with letting us, like, putting the microscope on these scientists, right? Because that's what they're doing. Like, you guys heard about the girl that she just disappeared. She went for a hike. She disappeared. She just left her phones, right? Her phones were both factory reset. How does that make any sense? Like when you're about to swap in your phone and you can factory reset your iPhone, both of her phones were left at the house and factory reset. Another one of the guys on the list, his phone was factory reset. Another one of the guys left his phone, his Apple Watch, whatever, went on a hike, just disappeared. Then the other guy gets in his Tesla, takes off, and just, blows up. And that guy's in Huntsville. That girl was in Huntsville. And I'm inclined to believe that girl, because when she gave the testimony about being followed, it matched like exactly what happened to not exactly what happened to me, but just like the details were accurate with how it actually goes if they follow you, which I've experienced straight up, right, when I was on tour, 100%, right. So a lot of people are saying she's crazy. What's up?
And I videotaped.
No, Amy Eskridge was not crazy. There's no way.
So. Yeah.
No.
And it wasn't a long time ago, but it was a while ago, man.
Yeah, I think that she's telling the truth.
She was looking into that shit way before that.
Yeah.
She didn't just come across everything at 2022.
That was when we started our podcast and we started talking about some deep shit.
Then her family came out and said like that she was struggling with mental health issues. And it's like, why wouldn't they say that? You know how stupid they would have to be like, no, what she was saying was all 100% true, and we're gonna do it on her behalf. Like, yeah, they don't want to die, bro. Like, even of course they're gonna, or maybe they really even didn't
they never
know.
Go after you. They go after your kids.
Yeah,
and if you don't have any family, then they go after you.
Yeah, that's no joke.
The question is, did Amy have a family? I'm actually wondering that now that I said that.
Not like her own.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody she cared about? Anybody like?
So
because now that I think about that, because anybody when they come out with that, when they become a whistleblower, like an actual genuine whistleblower, they don't care about themselves, which is why they're coming out with the information in general.
Right. All right.
But the people that don't want you to say that shit, it seems like they go after your loved ones first.
Yeah.
Because why would they automatically go after them as an individual first?
Yeah.
Because they already know they don't care, especially if they've expressed it multiple times.
Exactly. Like, even if someone that's willing to die, like when you bring in like your children or something, it changes the whole thing.
Oh, it changes completely.
Yeah. Like
the 100%. If I had kids, I'd buckle. 100%.
No, oh, bro.
I'd try to kill the guy.
I would.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would say, though, I've thought about this. Like, I could never just go lie. Like, there's like a story, like there's a theory, right, that I went to Antarctica or didn't really go or went and lied or whatever, and like I was like retained to come and deceive the world that there was a 24-hour sun, right? And then there are other people that are like, I think they got to him because they threatened his family and blah 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 blah. And then even Jared on the trip, he was like, everybody has their price, and I was like, no, because for one, if it's that important to them that they're going to pay me or threaten to kill my family, then that means I'm right. And that means that what I'm saying is true. Right. And if someone's willing to do that, what stops them for just like turning around and doing it anyway? So I don't know.
Didn't you guys go during the season where there was already a 24-hour sun? So it would have proved nothing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. So, well, a lot of flat earthers thought that you wouldn't see the 24-hour sun, of course, right? Like up until that point, there was like no video that hadn't been doctored. And we had tried to even call the bluff of people to go a couple times throughout the years, and they would always cancel. You know, it was always really sus. And Antarctica is heavily restricted. You know what's crazy, bro?
Oh, yeah.
We had a dinner the night before we got on the plane to go. So we got to South America a few, like maybe 3 days. I can't remember exactly before we actually went, because you just want to play it safe in case there's any weather. There can be a couple delays, right? They take it like they're really cautious with all of it. And we had a dinner with the girl that's in charge of the trips, the expeditions, and I recorded it. And I wasn't supposed to. Right. And and then she specifically said something about it. She saw someone else recording, and I had set my phone up on like a like up against my glass and record, so she didn't notice my phone was propped up recording it. But I do have it. Their consent laws are way different than here, though. So I don't know about releasing it.
But we're all safe.
Yeah, but I asked her.
Did you have it? Are we all in danger?
No. I've already said I have it.
But doesn't show it. We're good.
Yeah. I mean, but anyway, long story short, she was telling me, like, dude, I'm just telling you, they got Antarctica under lock, bro. Like,
oh, well, yeah.
Bro, that's just more confirmed now that I went. And for me, right, like we all kind of knew that. Then there's the people saying that's not true at all. Oh, it's true. Okay. Like I just talked to one of the only organizations
on the podcast that said it is all fair game, but it costs so much money to go there. Obviously, you're saying opposite. So that guy.
So like, that's what that girl would tell you too, right? That girl that's in charge of expedition, she would say something like that. And so she gave an example of these guys came in, they were willing to spend millions of dollars, and they wanted to drive across Antarctica. So they got them like these souped up Toyota Tacomas and whatever. And I don't know, their SUV. So like what's it called? Like a whatever runner or whatever. And they had to get it specially made and all this. And they helped them do their expedition, like drive to the North Pole, not across it, but to the North Pole and back. Right. And if you have enough money, you can do it. And so I started pressing her about it. And well, it's not actually that simple. So what you do is you submit your ideas to them, and then like they go and try to get permission from the governing body if they're willing to do it. And it has to be within a specific area. And you have to know exactly where you're going. There is no private exploration, bro. Like that isn't how it works. Like, and like
you're super rich.
If
you're super rich, probably
you'd be breaking the treaty, right? Like, yeah, if you're super rich, you could try to do it. But I mean, where are you going to fly from? Where are you going to take off from? Now what airspace are you going to be in? Do you like you're going to have to fuel up like on the tip of South America or something, right? And think about how risky it is to fly over there, bro. We landed on ice, literally like an ice runway, dude.
But it's so thick, though. It's so thick.
Yeah. But it's just like, it was crazy. You could feel the difference. Like there wasn't much friction at all when we landed. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like a blue ice runway, but you could literally feel the difference when we landed. It was pretty surreal. So I guess what I'm saying is, bro, I went to like a little camp with some tents there, and there were little flags where you were allowed to walk. Okay. And you weren't allowed to walk outside the flags. And dude, you don't want to walk outside the flags because there's nowhere to go anywhere, like anyway, bro, as far as the eye can see, dude, it's just endless ice and mountains, with some snow on top of it. I will say, dude, it was the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like hands down, not even close. Like so beautiful that it almost makes you like emotional. Like it's that crazy, dude. Like no exaggeration. When you start to get over Antarctica and you look out, because you're so high, we're flying at like 40,000 feet, and you can see so far because it's so clear. It's insane. And I'll tell you right now, I should not have been able to see that far, according to what they say about it, right? I mean brother, we saw waiting for it. We saw insane.
I can't disagree with you, because it like that shit checks out. It's just like my brain doesn't want to think we're in like an atrium.
No, I get it. Yeah, no, I get it.
Because if that's the case, we are 100% cooked. There's like something looking above us and like tink, 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 tink.
Yeah, I think that's how it is, bro.
Back in the glass and shit.
Turn the water on.
Yeah.
But think about it though. Think about it. But that's true within the like material world. Okay.
Yeah.
But then there's like the whole rest of the spectrum that's like limitless. So like, you know how visible light is like this tiny little fraction of the full spectrum of light? Like it's just nothing. It's like less than 1%. Like every time, we just talk about light all the time. And we're talking about visible light, dude. That's like nothing. Like, it's like less than 1%. It's just a certain little vibration that our eyes can see, and it's what we call visible light, that illumination. I think the material world, like this physical world, is like that of the ether, meaning it's just this little, like less than 1% vibrational portion of the full spectrum of vibration, right, of the ether. So does that make sense? So it's like, bro, that's true.
I was gonna ask you if you think that's the reason why our eyes can't perceive infrared or ultraviolet.
Yeah, they were like tuned to that specific vibration.
Because like I've done DMT multiple times and large doses of psilocybin, and I feel like you can see that shit afterwards because the shit that you like, especially DMT, it's not Zach and I sitting in this chair. Like that's not what you see, bro.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, so I'm wondering if that may be like the entities, the energies, the things that what we would think of as like scientifically, but we don't know that yet, make up the material world. But we just can't perceive it.
Right.
But all that shit affects us.
I think that's for sure. This is what you're like. I think that matter itself is almost, I wouldn't say illusion. It's like a real thing per se, but it's just like a certain little tiny fraction of the ether, just a modality of ether. I think that we're way deeper than that. Like you make up your mind, not your brain. You know what I mean? And you have a consciousness.
Yeah.
And like the embodying spirit of you, whatever people want to call that, like that makes you, like that's a totally real thing, you know. And then they have all the near death experiences. The NDE testimonies are insane, where like even atheist scientists will tell you like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Like there's no material explanation for this. So anyway, I guess my point is like, and on one hand, if you kind of view it as like taking a glass bowl and flipping it upside down and like putting this in there like some ants, that's like very deflating. Right. Yeah, but like if you see it as like this gigantic like torus filled with like this wild spectrum of energy coming all the way down, and then everything we see in the sky, these like spiral galaxies, all this crazy stuff, all that can be replicated with plasma and magnetic fields. That's like you can perfectly, what are the odds, bro, that you take a magnet near plasma and you can perfectly replicate every type of galaxy? Every type of galaxy, the spiral arms, the nebulas, everything we see in the sky. If you get in a lab with plasma and you start messing with magnets, you can replicate everything that we see. And that's because that's what it is, bro. That's what it is, brother. I mean, there's no exception. Everything's electric.
Oh, dude, Walter Russell.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like so many people bring up Nikola Tesla. Like I heard somebody the other day bring up the fact that Nikola Tesla like knew about the periodic tables, and it's like, no, Walter Russell had 144 of those.
Yeah,
already known by like 1918.
Yeah, predicted some.
Like that's why that's why Nikola Tesla told him, and it wasn't just the periodic table; it was like everything he knew. He like literally mapped out and explained everything that you're talking about with the spirals, the octaves. Every single element has a resonance, a frequency to it. And that's how you can multiply it or turn it into something else. And he explains the different levels of octaves. It's very fascinating. And the most fascinating part is all of his illustrations are his own and his own alone.
Yep.
He drew them himself.
Walter Russell was a genius.
Mind-boggling.
Bro,
yes,
bro, very bright.
One man nobody talks about.
Yeah, for sure.
Know what I'm saying?
And there's a few, but not to the extent of him, really. Like, but like Oliver Heaviside, Charles Proto Steinmetz, like Fatherhead's electrical field theory. Tesla got out there, but how could you hide him? He created the AC generator. He was. There's this thing about, you know, did he exist or not? I mean, I think he did. People say he didn't, but
is that another time traveler? Is that another like?
Oh, I've heard that too. I've heard that too. And there's also even like a movie, but people just claim he's like a fictional character. I don't think so,
Oh,
right?
okay.
But like I've met someone whose family has a letter from Tesla, like still in their family safe. You know, it's super anecdotal, but like her great grandfather would write letters, and my point is just like I think that Tesla was real. It doesn't matter though. Like let's just look at the writing of everything. There was only a few pictures. You know what I mean? The information's what's important, and it's been like known about for a long time. And I guess my bigger point with all that is like when you said the thing about the sound, it made me think. Like Tesla said, light is nothing more than a sound wave in the ether, and so sound is the vibration of air. Sound itself is the air, right? Like I have that in one of my rap songs. Like, what does it say? It's like better than veteran, don't want to let him in, ain't got a choice but to let him in. And I say, I feel it in the ether, it's coming through the speakers. I feel it in the ether, it's coming through the speakers. You talking, then see me speak up. But you not about it, type to leave them confounded with thoughts so profound, so deep they drown. And I wonder what sound is: a perturbation, reverberation. I heard to hate and I heard to fake and I heard debating. So like a perturbation, right, in the air is what sound is. Like sound is not like its own thing. There's not like a sound wave that goes across, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just the air.
Oh yeah.
So it's like that's what light is. It's just the ether. Like
that's how we manipulate the weather and everything else. It's not just like fucking shit we spray into the clouds, bro.
No, yeah, it's like a medium. Or I'm sure you guys have heard like I can wave my hand. I can't hand you a wave. Yeah. So like waves aren't things. Yeah, they're just medium. Like a wave in the ocean. Well, that's actually just the water in the ocean moving. So my point with all that is like I think that's like what Walter Russell was completely right, and that it is all sound. It's all vibration. If you get all the way to the very building block of it, everything is vibration. And so in the physical world, that registers as sound. You know what I mean? So that's what electricity is, magnetism, everything. It's intrinsically vibratory, and that's what Tesla agreed with that. Basically, the building blocks for static electricity, which is just vibration. So yeah. Anyway, I know there's a lot, but I think that if you zoom out and you view it as this like crazy etheric realm, and there are like layers to the vibrational output of it, and our material worlds inside of it. And then there are layers of basically like plasma and superfluids, and you have this insane universe, and it's still inconceivably big to us. Like, like if you wouldn't just pop up there and be able to like just go around the whole universe in a day, which a lot of people like, because they think when they hear the ideas of like some contained Earth, they zoom all the way down and they think of this like little like ant project, but ant farm project, but it's just what they said was so wildly big. Like 46 billion light years is insane, right? Like 1 light year is 5.88 trillion miles, dude. They're claiming that 46 billion of those 5.88 trillion times 46 billion miles away is how far the star is I'm looking at, brother. Like, bro, okay, like it could be huge.
Really awesome telescope that you have,
bruh. It could be thousands and thousands and thousands of miles, right? And it's just nothing compared to what they're saying that it is.
I can see people moving on
it. So when you think about you guys, do you get my point though? Like if you think it's like, oh, we're just kind of trapped in this little place, but it's actually like, oh, brother, you couldn't travel all through it anyway. Like it's still really big. And it's just this giant tourist field, and it's like incredible, right? And if you've ever gotten out away from light pollution, you can't even fathom the amount of stars you see, So it's like if you were to actually get up higher up, away from like all this like air that we have here, and you get into more of the superfluid realm, because I think that there's fluid above us, like that's speculation station, but that's my understanding. It would be crazy. You're seeing like a tourist field then you're going to enter into a different realm basically, and in order to get up that high, you have to get to a higher vibrational state. So you just can't go there when you're a human, bro. I mean, like when you're in matter, like when you're a corporeal being. And so I think that's the real limit. You know what I mean? You can go up there, but not when you have a physical body.
Well, beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, well, I think that's what we're all waiting
to do. Get me out
of
here. This place is fucked up. Yeah, like it doesn't even make any sense to like the common person. Like when you really think about it, if you think past what you do on a day-to-day basis and how the world is, it's just like Why?
Well, hey, flip it around though. Say that when you get out of the material body, there's no mortality, so it's infinite. Right. And so if I came up to you when you were like in that infinite being, right, as that infinite being, and I said, "Yo, so you want to like?"
Where time doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm just like, "Yo, well, do you want to test out like a few decades as like this other little thing you can be? It's like you'll be material. You'll have like a spectrum of human emotions. You won't fully know everything you know right now, and so you'll have like this different experience where you have to figure it out. And like, would you say yes or no, right? Because if you say no, then you just stay where you are forever. If you say yes, then you get that experience, but you still ultimately still have access to forever. So like from that perspective, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, get me out of here, but I guess in a way I should enjoy while I'm here, right? Because it's like an experience, right? We transcend mortality, which is undeniable, like scientifically undeniable, like. Right. There is no way around it. There is a 0% chance that we just die and nothing happens. There's no way.
You know what? That would be pretty awesome if I'm right, and we do die, and we can just trickle. Be like, I want to go over there.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go experience that over there, dude. Like for real. And this is all bullshit.
Then you realize you're not allowed there, and you're like,
but what would suck is that you wouldn't remember any of your past memories. So even if you reincarnated as like say another human body, you wouldn't remember your past. Because I don't remember any of that.
For some people it'll probably be better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But Austin, once again, awesome. It was a great conversation, dude. It really was, man. Like kind of what I expected. But before we wrap it up here, could you tell our audience where to find you, what you're going to be doing if because I know you just started back up on YouTube. I saw the video the other day. Yeah. And yeah, just break it down for people that because dude, we're glad you're back.
Thank you, bro.
Like fuck yeah, dude. I'm sorry, Austin, but fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
thank you, fuck them. Truth before dishonor, bro.
For sure.
Let's go. No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on, man. It was fun. And sorry, I kind of ramble a lot. It's I guess when I
welcome to this match. We're the same way, dude.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me and letting me just dump all that from all over different directions. But it was cool. I knew that would happen because I knew we vibe, and then we're just gonna naturally have a conversation that flows.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm back online. I stepped away for personal reasons for a bit, but now I'm back online. So yeah, I'm gonna stream pretty consistently. I'm pretty much every day. So I stream on YouTube for now. Witsit gets it also, but I will have some exclusive streams at Kick. So if you want to like get all the streams, kick.com/Witsit, and then it's Witsit gets it on everything else. And yeah, pretty controversial debates coming up. I'll just say that.
You are the debater.
Yeah, that's like my thing. Yeah,
that's something we don't do.
Yeah, I get it. So debates coming soon.
Yep.
And I like conversations like this more, but I think the benefit of the debate is that like the audience members that maybe are unfamiliar with things, they can kind of learn a lot in one sitting. Like they can hear both sides. They don't have to bounce around sifting through stuff, So it has its benefits.
Well,
but,
you don't let them get to you. Like I've seen
Took
multiple
a while to get like that though.
Dude, yeah, but you don't, and it pisses them off though.
Yeah.
And you see them try harder because of it. And it's like, bro, like you're actually telling everybody else without telling everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It took a minute to get like that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a pleasure. Like once again, man, I've said this before, but you're always welcome. 100%.
Awesome.
Zach, do you have anything to say before
no, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, the conversation's always good. I mean, so even though I did contradict myself.
With the Colin,
but whatever. Yeah.
Hey, but let's say real fast, everyone that's watching, go show them some love. So it's this and that. Well, I don't think that's the actual username, right? You want to plug that? I'll drop the link to their X. If you guys will go show them some love and follow, because you guys know X doesn't just like to push everybody everywhere. So I'll drop the link in both chats if you guys will show them some love on X.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Tatawajaz Pod, TATWJAZ Pod. This and that with Josh and Zach. That's what it means. So when you're like what Phone Booth podcast always says, Tachiwawa, it's fucking Vince. It's Tatawajaz, dude. Those guys are they're a great conversation. Honestly, man, you should have a conversation with them, dude. They're funny as shit, man. They really are. Phone Booth podcast. I don't know if you know who they are, but it's a plug.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of their shorts.
I would, man. I would. And honestly, if you do get on their show, bust Vince's balls because he's a Trump fan.
Okay.
Just could you soften him up a little bit so when I get on there, I'll crush him.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That's a tough spot to be in nowadays, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Thank everybody for listening and watching now and in the future. And yeah, dude. Another day, another episode, man.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy, everybody. Thank you, Austin.
This has been This and That with Josh and Zach. The guys' passion are to talk about anything from conspiracy theories and aliens to alternative health, corruption, free energy. If the mainstream media is pushing an agenda on it, we dive deeper. Thanks for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to
right back.
rate, and review. And we'll be back soon.
We'll be right back
to
wrap up the show.
Find us
I'm
on
say
Twitter
bye to
at
them.
TATW.
I'll play my video. Play the 5-minute astronauts, and we'll be right back. All right. What's going on? We dropped off a few people, but got that wrapped up as fast as possible. Hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. That was pretty cool. We're going to kick it for a little bit. And I think then we're going to wrap it up. So there's not much more than that podcast on that stream. I may stream again later. You guys can let me know if you want me to stream again tonight. Be a pretty long night. If we came back at maybe 10, I could stream 2-3 more hours. And we'll cover everything that's going on. Because I didn't end up streaming yesterday. I was working on the site and all this other stuff. So we'll have to get a makeup stream. Update on the member-only stream. I know I've been saying there's going to be a member-only stream for a couple weeks now. that was obviously the intention. Issue with the website, had to get it all situated. Like the membership, I guess it was through like a sandbox and Stripe that was like, it was like basically temporary to test it. And so it wasn't actually going through. So I want to give everyone a chance that's on Patreon and Ko-fi to be able to link their account. So if you're already a member on Ko-fi or Patreon, go link your account through witsit.com to get member-only access. I'll post on those sites as well, though, a link to it. It's going to take you to the site, and to be able to see the actual member-only stream, it's only natively hosted there. Like no one else can have it. It's not unlisted on YouTube, nothing like that. So you'll have to sign in to be able to see it. And I'll try to think if there's a creative way to help people if they like really don't want to do that for whatever reason, but they still support monthly. So thoughts on feminism destroyed the West. Just stupid. You mean like women fighting for superior advantages under the disguise of equality, but they don't actually want equality. So, I mean, I think feminism, my answer would be that feminism is the most egregious direct attack on women in the history of mankind. Straight up. Convincing women, they got a bunch of women out here trying to compete with men and show that they can have emotionless sex, just completely destroying their soul, convincing them that they want to like go into like male dominated fields and try and be a boss babe. And then, women fall for this trick and they end up, racking up bodies, and they get in their 30s and they realize like, oh man, I totally messed up. There's always like a point in time where they finally kind of realize it. That's my general take there. I think it's an attack on women. I guarantee you that all the women that claim that they want equality, they do not. Do they? So like, do they want to be drafted in a war? Do they think that men should be able, if a woman hits a man, I think a man should be able to knock her out? I don't think so. Right. Like, I mean, I certainly don't agree with that. I don't think like if we were on the street, we saw a woman like come up to a guy and slap him, and then the guy just knocked her out, everyone would agree that was super messed up and not okay at all. But if some like shorter guy comes and like hits a dude, then it gets knocked out. Like, well, you had that coming. You know what I'm saying? Should men not pay for the date? Should men not be the one that protects the woman if there's any physical danger? You want equality? What does that mean? So like, there's an intruder, the woman has to go face the intruder. Or is it like, oh, it's January, it's your turn to go protect the house? I have February, or it's your week or whatever. It's just all so stupid. It's like, there's a beautiful natural balance in the way that everything works. And yeah, like men being the authority, it isn't some type of attack on women. It's the opposite, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, including the humility required to acknowledge, say, when the woman is right about something, and going with her decision. But there has to be a decision maker, right? James, if you're watching the stream, we can do that tonight in between this stream and the next stream. Let me just check and see if there's any super chats or anything. For some reason, Kick's not working. I have to restart my computer before the next stream. But show a brother some love and follow on kick.com/Witsit. And I don't know, like I'll have like 1,000 views and then I'll come look at it. It'll say like 200 views. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, if you guys can help a brother out and sub on Kick, that helps me be able to get to partnership. And then we have to, I think, average like 75 viewers or whatever. So we'll do a stream here in a second. We may end only on Kick. Member only stream coming. That's what I was going to say. I'll explain some more of this in the stream, but members only stream is coming. I got the donations and the membership set up on the stream, the site. As far as I can tell, you should be able to connect Patreon and Ko-fi. There's a lot more that goes into that than you would maybe think, but I think it should be working now. You should be able to watch all streams there. You should be able to watch member only streams there. You have posts. You can DM me directly. You can DM other meetings or any other members. You get thrown into a group chat. If you go to messages, once you sign in on the site, you'll go to messages. You can see there's a group chat section. So you'll have your personal DMs, and then there's a group message. And just be patient as like that was all built from the ground up. And so, you know, trying to add things to it and get it all figured out as we go. Where's the Bitcoin link there? I couldn't find one. Dang, that's a great point. I have not actually added a Bitcoin link there. Touche. I mean, I can give a Bitcoin address right now, but I thank you for bringing that up. I totally didn't think about it. I'll drop a Bitcoin link in the where could I put that right now? Like in the description? Swanee, thank you for subbing for a month, brother, on Kick. Thank you. Bitcoin. Okay. Yeah, we talked about so many things there. Sorry if it was like I was rambling. I was just like trying to lay all kinds of stuff out at once. Okay, let me see if I can do this. What I'll do is I'm going to show you guys this video real quick. All right, so they're really hitting everyone with freaking UFO and alien propaganda, bro. So here, let's watch this real fast, give you an idea, and we'll cover some stuff in the stream when I come back live in a sec. But let me do this while I set a couple things up, and I'll read all super chats if it's on Ko-fi, Patreon, do the site, whatever. I'll shout out all the subs on Kick as well.
Whenever you see something that doesn't fit what you know, a real scientist should get excited, not skeptical.
My two guests today have credentials that are impossible to ignore. Dr. Eric Hazeltine was Director of Research for the National Security Agency. Basically, he was the tip of the spear on science and innovation for the US's most hardcore intelligence agency. Before that, he was an executive vice president at Walt Disney Imagineering. He's a neuroscientist, a futurist, and has over 70 patents to his name. He possibly has one of the most intriguing resumes of all time.
When you look at all the many thousands of reports, and we've looked at all, and some I have guilty knowledge of from when I was inside the government, it's real, and it's something we do not understand.
Dr. Chris Gilbert has an MD and PhD from one of France's top medical schools. She's worked with Doctors Without Borders across 4 different continents, and she's pioneered her own incredibly unique methods in holistic medicine.
In our own body that we've studied so much, there are things we're discovering that we had no idea existed.
She also happens to be Eric's wife. Together, they've co-authored several books, including The New Science of UFOs and The Shadow of Time, a book involving ancient archaeological objects with anomalous properties being systematically excavated by private corporations.
This thing's a cover-up.
So when I found out that a former NSA director of research, who is privy to just about every sensitive piece of intelligence in the United States, wrote a book about anomalous objects being recovered in the desert, I had to reach out and learn more.
Do you guys have kind of a base case for what's going on?
I think what we're seeing with these credible, real phenomena is something really bizarre and out there. We might all be Martians.
What is to say that life doesn't exist 120 light years away from us?
I think it's almost certain that we're evolved from building blocks that are extraterrestrial. There was some advanced civilization on Earth many hundreds of millions of years ago that discovered near luminal travel.
This whole interview is a fun game of cat and mouse. It's me basically trying to figure out whether Eric and Chris's fiction books were at all informed by what Eric saw behind the curtain.
You can move something through the air where there's no engine on it at all. You're just pushing on it with photons.
Did you do that at a larger scale?
Yes.
Whoa.
So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy a mind-expanding conversation with a bunch of rabbit holes you won't want to climb out of with this week's American alchemists, Dr. Eric Hazeltine and Dr. Chris Gilbert.
Okay. Cool. For the person that asked, I added a Bitcoin Addy in the Kick description on my channel. So there's an Addy there. I will integrate that into the website though. I totally didn't think about that, but like we'll build it to where everyone can send even super chats or pay for their membership with crypto. The thing is recurring is tricky with crypto, right? I don't know that that's a thing, or you'd have to manually do it every month, but okay, add a Bitcoin Addy, and then we'll make it where like USDC, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever can be sent through the site for super chat, stuff like that. I could probably have that done before the next stream. So the person that asked, yeah, sorry, you were right. I had not included that yet. Okay. Are you ending the live where you're going to go? I had to grab my lunch. I'm going to end this live and then go live again tonight. You know, maybe 10:30. I need to eat dinner. Okay, we got a couple super chats here. Thank you, S. Andrews. Ask Circa to get you on Sneeko's channel to present this stuff. Sneeko would be into it. Best chance to get the info out. Okay, it's not a bad idea, yeah. Thankful to have you back, bro. Thank you, man. Nobody but y'all and the Sanch 30. Thank you guys for the support. Check here, see if anything's happened on the site. Nope. Okay, so I think we're good. Yep. Okay. We are good. That debate was, yeah, me and Zerka's debate was pretty funny for sure. All right, cool. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Shout out to, I just saw, I don't know why Kick's not loading on these browsers. I have to like restart my computer, I guess. I don't know. Vitali, thank you for the 5 gifted. Flat Earth Gnosis, Frank, Nitty. Thank you guys for the gifted subs on Kick. Yep, subbing on Kick helps me out a ton. Support what you love, fam. Thank you so much. Kingdom Contact, shout out to him. Absolute legend. If you don't know who that is, go sub to his channel. Tons of gravy. My go-to. Shout out to you, bro. Much love. Thanks for the support. Okay, cool. We're going to take a break, eat some dinner. I'll come back, stream for probably 3 hours or so. So we'll cover a bunch of what's going on. I need to set it up, make a thumbnail, get everything kind of figured on the back end, but cool. All right. Shout out to This and That. Go show them some love. Pretty fun podcast. A lot of stuff covers, you know, the topics we're talking about. Hard to cover all of it super in depth in 2 hours, but we did cover a lot of stuff. It was pretty good convo. All right. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. You know, that's how it is. The truth is rarely popular, and what's popular is rarely true. Just how it goes, you know. So don't make it weird, bro. All right, cool. I'll catch up with you guys in like an hour and a half. I will post the links in Telegram It'll pop up on the site. And hopefully make sure you're notified by pushing the little bell and turning on notifications. Sometimes, especially on JTube, it'll turn you off. So just make sure you kind of stay on top of it. And I'll make sure to set up the stream 30 minutes before we go live, so it should send out a notification. I'll see you guys shortly. All right. W sub. Hey, Frank Nitty, thank you for gifting another sub. More legends. Thank you. All right. Much love. Catch up with you guys on the flip. Peace.